So let me just read to you what I wrote this morning. Okay. And then it'll tell you this is from the Substack. Okay. Let's go, Andy. Let's talk about it. So the rules change when it's your son. Shedeur Sanders, double standard, and the story America keeps telling. I should say keeps telling itself or telling on itself. I might have to change that. Excuse me. Okay, so some folks have heard about it, some folks haven't. Like our Nikki. Nikki's like, my algorithm is all immigration. And I was like, mine was mixed. Mine was about this. Okay, so this is how I start. I say, if you're a sports fan, you already know the headlines. But if you're not, or even if you only caught the surface, you might have missed the deeper story unfolding here. Either way, I want you to take a few minutes and I want you to read this. And I want you guys watching to take a few minutes and I want you to absorb this. And I really want to know in the comments what you think. You may say, Don, what you're writing is unfair. I don't think it's fair. Okay, great. I like that. Either way, take a few moments and read this, because while on the surface, it may look like a sports story, it's really a story about America and perception versus reality. And in America, especially for Black men, perception often becomes reality, a harsher, heavier reality where the benefit of the doubt is a luxury you rarely receive. Now, you guys know I'm going to tell you like it is. So this photograph I have there is on purpose, because this is a Sanders brothers, the Sanders family. And then below is a Manning family. And I thought it was a good comparison. Some folks may say it's not apples to apples, but thank you, Ursula Harvey. I think it was on point too. But this is to make you think. This is to spark a conversation. And I actually came up with a headline where I forgot what my original headline was, but I said I wanted this to appeal to everyone, including the women and the mothers out there, because they're going to think it's a sports story. So how do you appeal to with their sons? Right? Okay. So that's why I have those two families there. Now go with me. I want you guys to listen to this, okay? I want you to listen. I said, there is a ritual in America, almost as old as the game itself. Watch a young Black man rise and then look for ways to humble him. Remember, I don't pull punches. I don't hold back words. Part of the reason why I'm in independent media now. I'm not, I don't sanitize enough. I don't edit enough. I think that the news is about adults and we should be able to talk this way. Shedeur Sanders entered the 2025 NFL draft with everything the system is supposed to reward: talent, discipline, resilience. He left not as a top 5 pick, not even a second round choice, but a 5th rounder, 144th overall. Shocking to a lot of people. Not that they think that he should have been the number one, should have been in the first round, the second round, but to go to 5th, considering his numbers, considering his pedigree. That would be a different story if, I believe, regardless of how he acted in the interviews, they said, oh, he didn't take the interview seriously, but that's reportedly. I don't know if that's real or not, because I know that a lot of things that are reported about me are fake or false, all lies, but people believe it because it's written. And I know, being in the media, that there is a double standard, especially when it comes to people of color, especially men of color. That is the God's honest truth. He entered 144th overall, not because he couldn't play. Of course, he certainly could. Not because he couldn't lead, not because he lacked the numbers. He threw for over 4,100 yards, 37 touchdowns, and with a 74% completion rate. Okay? Now listen to me. Those are better numbers, in fact, than quarterbacks drafted before him this year. Better numbers than Eli Manning had when his father, Archie Manning, reportedly brokered Eli's future from a podium, deciding for him that San Diego wasn't worthy and sending him to New York instead. Now, he denies some of that now, but that is the report. Okay? That's why I said reportedly. And there is Eli and his dad, Archie Manning, right there. Okay? So, no. Keep scrolling up, Andy. Shedeur Sanders fell because of something else, something quieter, something older, something far more familiar. They whispered about his interviews. They said he came across as brash, as too confident, as entitled. Maybe there's some truth to it, I say. Maybe he could have handled it better. Maybe, or maybe not. Because again, this is reportedly, I wasn't in the interviews, you weren't in the interviews. The reporters were not in the interviews. It was between the coaches, probably the owners or whomever. But this is the perception that people say. This is what reportedly, maybe, maybe not. But in America, when a young black man carries himself with certainty, we don't call it self-assurance, we call it trouble. We turn self-belief into a warning sign. We turn pride into a flaw. Now, again, some of you may not hear, oh, Don, this guy was too cocky. Isn't that part of being an athlete, is like being cocky and self-assured? Humility is part of it too, but not everybody has the same personality. And not just for the young. It starts early, but it follows black men all their lives. Confidence, independence, audacity, qualities that are celebrated in white boys, white men, are treated like threats in black boys, black men, especially when the man standing behind you is Shedeur Sanders, a father who dared to love his son loudly, publicly, unapologetically, especially when the legacy looks like him, meaning Shedeur Sanders. The legacy looks like Shedeur Sanders. And there he is with his dad. There he is with his trophies, right? With his awards. Okay, keep going. Keep scrolling up. We saw it before, didn't we? When Archie Manning fought for Eli, it was legacy. When Shedeur Sanders stands up for Shedeur, it's ego. When young white quarterbacks exude swagger, it's charisma. When young black quarterbacks exude the same, it's arrogance. And I give examples. I like to have receipts. It's the same playbook, the same story, the same lie, and it's not new. For example, Cam Newton celebrated touchdowns and was called a showboat. Baker Mayfield celebrated and it was called passion. Lamar Jackson was told maybe he should switch positions. Josh Allen was told he just needed more coaching. Again, go look it up yourself. And I fact-checked all of this. Justin Fields had his work ethic questioned without cause. Mac Jones had his faults glossed over. The double standard has always been there, and every time a black quarterback stands tall, the system looks for a reason to sit him back down. This is resonating with a lot of you. Thank you very much. And if it is, make sure you hit that thumbs up and send me your comments because I want to know. Thank you, Arist. The double standard has always been there. And every time a black quarterback stands tall, the system looks for a reason to sit him back down. And let's be honest about something else too. Now I want you to listen to this one, okay? Remember, he's a showboat. He's too arrogant. He doesn't take things seriously. Someone said he was wearing too much cologne. Someone said he had headphones on. All of that, okay? Let's be honest about something else too. Many of the men who made these draft decisions, who wrung their hands over Shedeur's confidence, and the very ones who openly supported Donald Trump, a man more arrogant, more selfish, and more bloated with ego than any 21-year-old athlete could dream of being. Donald Trump is almost an 80-year-old man, and he has all these qualities he has not learned. Shedeur Sanders, whether you like it or not, maybe he could have handled some things differently, but he's 21 years old. Okay? He is a 21-year-old. Let me read that again, just so I want this to settle in, okay? And let's be honest about something else too. Many of the men who made these draft decisions, who wrung their hands over Shedeur's confidence, are the very ones who openly support Donald Trump, a man more arrogant, more selfish, and more bloated with ego than any 21-year-old athlete could dream of being. Thank you, Paulette Ward. Preach the truth. I'm just telling you, I always tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. So when Trump starts sounding like the voice of reason about how unfairly a young black man is being treated, you don't just have a football problem, you have a soul problem. When Donald Trump is the voice of reason, the same man who called NBA players sons of bitches, when he becomes a voice of reason, you have more than just a football problem. You have a soul problem. And there's an even deeper irony hiding inside of this. Deion Sanders has spoken warmly about Trump in the past. He defended Trump's leadership, praised his policies, and aligned, knowingly or not, with a movement that insists systemic racism is just a myth. Some people might say it's karma. I don't know. And yet here he stands, watching his son become a living, breathing example of the very system that so many of them claim doesn't exist. I don't think I need to say anything more about that. You guys get it. Trump posted about Shedeur's draft slide, calling NFL owners stupid for overlooking a kid with phenomenal genes, he said, and a future full of greatness. And again, I'm a truth teller here. And I say, and for once, he wasn't wrong. Even if he didn't understand the depth of what he was saying. He didn't understand the depth of what he was saying. But a broken clock. He wasn't wrong. And he posted on his social site. Shedeur Sanders' fall wasn't about ability. It wasn't about readiness. It wasn't about a culture inside the NFL outside of it. Let me read that again. Shedeur Sanders' fall wasn't about ability. It wasn't about readiness. It was about a culture inside the NFL and outside of it that still feels the need to remind Black boys, Black men, no matter how polished, how talented, how prepared, know your place. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. But here's the thing. Shedeur doesn't need their blessing to rise. He comes from people who know how to build greatness out of thin air. Or as James Baldwin says, you come from sturdy peasant stock. I'm paraphrasing. One that built bridges and dammed dams and in the teeth of the most terrifying odds attained an unsaleable dignity. That's who he comes from. He comes from a people who know how to build greatness out of thin air. He comes from a father who built an empire out of doubt. There was no roadmap for Deion Sanders, whether you like him or not, whether he supports Trump or not. He blazed his own trail. He comes from a legacy that doesn't wait for permission, and he will rise. Maybe slower than he should have, maybe angrier than he needed to be, but rise he will, because the ones they try hardest to humble are always the ones they fear most. Watch him. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.